I still have my 7th grade math notebook. If you look at the front, you'll see the official content. Linear equations, variables, a big red 60 circle at the top. Of course, it was a failing grade. In the margins of the notebook, there's a galaxy drawn. And next to y equal mx plus b, I had written, the line, a silver thread through the dark of x, where y, a sleepy dreamer, wakes to find its way. Ironically, those small drawings were my way of understanding what was happening. I was translating logic into images, number into metaphors. And the numbers on my report card seemed to confirm their suspicion. I perfect 100 in humanities, but a failing 60 in math. And I wasn't seen as a poet or as an artist. I was distracted. I was sent to the school psychologist. They test me for attention disorders, even autism. And the message was clear, and it was reinforced by every single report card. Teachers whispered about my focus issues, and the psychologist's office became another classroom to me. And with every report card, the message became clearer. My imagination didn't fit the system definition of intelligence. Like, there was a problem to be solved. And from a very young age, I learned that education system had already written its own definition of intelligence. And it was neat, it was measurable, and it was painfully narrow. And when I come from, in Nicaragua, it celebrated students who could memorize, calculate, go to math Olympiads, and I really admire them. And they really like to stay inside of the lines of the good grades. But the kind of intelligence I had didn't quit and didn't fit that definition. And the misunderstanding doesn't end in childhood, to be honest, because the truth is we grow up in a world that still rewards the simple over the complex. And we live in a world that loves labels. We are pressured to define ourselves with a single, consistent identity. What do you do? Are you creative? Or are you a logical thinker? Pick a passion. We're taught that to be coherent is to be credible. That to be many things is to be confused. And as I grew older, that curiosity only grew with me. But so did the questions, because I didn't just love art, I loved physics too. I could spend hours painting, writing poetry, or listening to music. But I was also fascinated by stars, by why the sky blends with light, by how sound travels through space. I love the way that art could explain emotion, and the way science could explain everything else. And to me, they weren't separate languages. They were different ways to say the same thing. Wonder. And my teachers started asking me to choose. Are you gonna focus on the arts, or are you going more into science? Do you want to write, or do you want to do research? As if loving too many things meant loving them less. And yet, from the moment we learn to speak, the world asks us to pick one version of ourselves and stay loyal to it. We learn to perform consistency to preserve the shifting nature of who we are. We're told to be strong instead of vulnerable. We're told to be rational instead of emotional, independent instead of connected. Still, I began to realize how uncomfortable the world gets when you don't fit a category. Because categories make us legible, predictable, easy to place. And the older we get, the more that pressure grows to simplify, to explain ourselves in one clear sentence. In a globalized world, that pressure has become even stronger. Globalization has connected us, but has also standardized us. It tells us what success looks like, what ambition should sound like, what a talented person should study, where, or even post online. It doesn't just connect cultures, it merges them into a single marketable aesthetic. And the thing is that we start absorbing it without realizing. Like, we paint our rooms in a color that look good on Pinterest, but not in a room. We listen to music that we love, we don't love just because it's trending. We buy clothes that fit an aesthetic, but not our personality. And we follow paths that photograph well, even if they don't feel right. We do the things not because it brings us joy, but because they make us more recognizable. We learn to introduce ourselves with labels that are easy to understand. I'm a designer, I'm a scientist, I'm a leader, I'm this, I'm that. But those labels can become cages, tiny polished cages, where we keep only the parts of ourselves that the world applauds. And the tragedy is that in trying so hard to be understood, we end up simplifying ourselves. But the truth is, complexity isn't confusion, it's a strength. It took me years to see what the world calls inconsistency is actually a form of intelligence, because the ability to hold contradictions, to think in color and structure at the same time, that's not distraction, that's integration. And that's exactly what the world needs right now. We're standing in a time of extraordinary connection, where every culture, every language, every field of knowledge touches another. Globalization has woven us together. Scientists collaborate with artists, activists with economists, doctors with storytellers. And yet, for all this connection, we're still terrified of diversity. In others, but mostly in ourselves. We forget that the same force of globalization that humanizes us also can harmonize us if we choose to use them correctly. Protecting our inner diversity is not retreating them from the world, it's transforming it. It's refusing to let globalization turn us into single copies, instead using it to share our unique perspective across borders, disciplines, and hearts. So here's my invitation to you. Think back to the part of yourself that lives in the margins, that one that never quite fit the main text of your life. Maybe it's your curiosity, or it's your empathy, or your sense of humor. Maybe it's also your creative side, as me, or your analytical one, the part of you quiet because it didn't seem relevant, logical, or practical enough. Now, imagine what will happen if you stop hiding it, if you let it collaborate with everything else inside of you. And I want you to do something with me. Hold out your hand for a moment and look at it. This is your margin, the place where your many parts of you meet. And now close it gently, not to silence that, but to bring it home. So don't apologize for the mandala in your math book, or the poetry in your equations. Because in our globalized world, that pushes us towards uniformity. Protecting your inner diversity is a radical act of creation. It's how we keep humanity interesting, how we keep innovation alive, how we keep empathy real. So, here's my question to you. What will you do with your margins? Will you keep them hidden? Or will you use them to redraw what the world can be? Maybe your margin can become an innovation, maybe a movement, maybe a story that changes how someone else sees themselves. Whatever it is, let it out. Let it speak. Because your margins can change the world. Because maybe the future is not written in the center of a page. Maybe it begins in the margins.